Thanks, guys, for joining this short seminar overview on the Health Innovation Hub Ireland's Clinical Innovation Awards. It will be available on our website at HIH.ie, along with other supports such as interviews with representatives from Enterprise Ireland and universities and previous winners of the similar awards of a similar award, the Cleveland Clinic Award. So just go to the website and follow the links for the Clinical Innovation Awards. I'd also like to thank Enterprise Ireland for sponsoring and supporting the Clinical Innovation Awards. Health Innovation Hub and Enterprise Ireland recognise the value and insight of healthcare staff and their ability to see the solutions to problems or challenges in healthcare. The Clinical Innovation Awards is a programme to support those in healthcare who have an idea for a solution to address a major need in healthcare. So before I jump into the Clinical Innovation Award, I'll just give a brief overview of the Health Innovation Hub, who we are and what we do. Health Innovation Hub is a joint initiative between the Department of Health and the Department of Trade, Enterprise and Employment, funded and supported by Enterprise Ireland and the HSE. And our role is to facilitate the connection between those with ideas, products or solutions to unmet needs in healthcare with those with the experience and expertise to evaluate, adopt or implement those ideas. And we have a national presence with offices in Cork, Dublin and Galway. We are co-located between hospital groups and academic institutions to bring the clinical, technical, commercial and project management expertise together to deliver for healthcare and companies. Half our team are HSE employees or clinical personnel and lend their experience and system knowledge to every project Health Innovation Hub is involved in. So, the Health Innovation Hub Clinical Innovation Award is designed to support all healthcare professionals in Ireland to explore the commercial feasibility of their innovative ideas with the potential to transform the way medical care is delivered in Ireland and abroad. So why a commercial feasibility? There are many ways to implement change in healthcare. Some of them are very expensive. Actually, most of them are very expensive. Often this means having to get funding to pay for the development of an idea or concept before it is brought to reality. And some of the best healthcare innovations came from and still come from innovative thinking and innovative people who understand the gaps or the problems. This means not necessarily improving a current system, service or process, which do work, but thinking about how a problem could be addressed earlier, easier, less invasively or avoided altogether. So this competition is to support those ideas, the exploration of the commercial feasibility, and that this will be conducted by a professional market consultant, provides critical information on whether or not your idea or solution will attract further funding, ultimately finding out whether people will pay for the development of your idea and will people use it. The findings of this commercial feasibility is the foundation of bringing any medical device or healthcare solution through development and to the patient, ultimately to the healthcare system. So, what type of ideas are we looking for? All innovative technologies at all stages of development, from concept, early stage research to more advanced projects are welcome, including categories such as medical devices, diagnostics, robotics, digital therapeutics, etc. Who can apply? So this is open to all healthcare professionals in public hospitals, third level institutions and non-profit organizations. Academics and researchers in third level institutions working or partnering with a healthcare professional can also apply. However, the lead applicants must be employed and have ongoing clinical commitments in the Irish Health Service. What are the prizes? So the winners, there'll be 3 winners of the award and they'll receive €15,000 from an Enterprise Ireland Commercialisation Feasibility Fund to investigate the commercial feasibility of their innovative idea in Ireland and international markets. And the winners will be announced at Enterprise Ireland's Big Ideas event in October, the date to be confirmed. So the Big Ideas is Enterprise Ireland's event that empowers the front runners in Irish research to take centre stage and pitch their technology solutions and business propositions to an audience comprising the Irish research and investment communities. And Big Idea provides investor-ready startups with a bespoke pathway to success, support with growing their business and creating jobs in Ireland. So I'll just reiterate really why the commercialization feasibility. So in order for many new products or services to become available for use in healthcare, they must show, in addition to a clinical need, a strong commercial case or evidence people will pay for it. The cost of addressing problems in healthcare is extremely large, as you know, and developing new solutions is too expensive for individuals or for the HSE to fund. As such, funding from groups such as Enterprise Ireland, investors and industry is critical in bringing new life-saving or life-changing solutions to the patient. The commercial feasibility funding provides funding for a thorough examination of the commercial opportunity and to assess whether a solution could or should be developed. A favourable commercial feasibility report increases the likelihood of further investment and development to bring that product or solution to reality. So how do you apply? First of all, go to the website www.hih.ie and follow the links to the Clinical Innovation Award. Download the application, review the application form and start to populate it. I'll speak about that in a second. See the supports that are available to complete the application form on the website, particularly the how-to guide. And then you must link in with the university or an institute of technology or a technical university to get support from their technology transfer office. And I'll expand on this now in the next slide. It may be beneficial as well to link in with a technical expert to develop the idea through a university or wherever, or vice versa for technical experts to link in with clinical people. And again, Health Innovation Hub Ireland, we can provide introductions here as well. And then you submit the signed form via the application portal. So again, the lead should have ongoing commitments and a contract with the Irish Health Service, and it should be signed off by a representative from a university, an institute of technology, or a technical university, such as somebody in the TTO office. So why academic institutions? So this award, the feasibility fund, it's funded through a research performing organization such as a university and an IoT or a technical university. This is part of Enterprise Ireland's ability to fund these projects, is that they go through these research performing organizations. So this requires that you approach one of these institutions before submitting your application. And again, we can provide an introduction to people in those institutions if you require, you don't know somebody there. The Technology Transfer Office, or TTO, in these institutions provide support for people to commercialize or develop their ideas. And we will have Fionnuala Brown, a senior commercialization executive in NUI Galway, speaking to us in another webinar shortly. And Fionnuala will provide more information on TTOs and their supports and how to contact them. So the assessment criteria and evaluation process. So the applications will be evaluated by Enterprise Ireland, and they will be looking at the following criteria: the size of the commercial opportunity, the advantages of the proposed solution over current solutions, technical innovation in terms of novelty and feasibility, and what would be the benefit to the project or your project of a commercial feasibility assessment. So that's the size of the market, the advantages of the proposed solution over current solutions, and a technical innovation in terms of novelty and feasibility. Okay, so building a case. So there's more than three, but there's three key elements of bringing a solution to market. And that's to ensure that there is an unmet clinical need. So there is a clinical rationale, a strong market that it's already been paid for to address the issue, and a robust solution or solution direction, so that it's kind of grounded in reality somewhat. The how-to guide on the website goes through all of this in more detail. But this is important for you when you're building a case around your solution. It may have a really good utility, but you need to kind of expand on a whole host of other areas. You don't have to go into too much detail on each of them, but you need to understand them and get some detail on them at this point. So the first one being, what is the unmet need? And you need to verify the need by speaking to colleagues and experts about the problem. You don't have to mention your solution, you're only verifying the need. So you only speak about the problem. Is it a real problem? And how many people are affected by the problem? Is it 1 in 10,000, which would be a really big problem, or 1 in 100 million, which would be less so? The second thing then is What are the current solutions? You need to know all of these. What is being done locally, nationally, and internationally? Why are the current solutions not good enough? What are the disadvantages of the current solutions? And stick to tangibles like cost, utility, efficacy, safety, the skill required to use it, etc. You can make a comparison table like the one shown here, where your solution is compared to others, and it looks better. What are the current companies on the market, and what is the size of the market? So Google is your friend for this. If you Googled what's the current market size for diabetes, let's say, you'd find out very quickly that it's nearly in excess of 80 billion, and that the main players include Novo Nordisk and a host of other companies. Enterprise Ireland also have market research reports as well that are accessible. What new technologies are in development? So what research groups or universities or companies are considered the leaders in the area? You don't need to know what they're doing, but like an idea of who they are, where they are would help. Does your solution require regulatory approval from the EMA or the FDA or similar? So does it, is it a medical device or an in vitro diagnostic? And if it is, what classification of device is it? What would you need to do to get it approved? This should be high level for now. You don't need to know the steps, but if it's a class 1, it has to go through class 1 certification. And if it's a class 2, it may need more in-depth testing and evidence to support it, including maybe clinical trials, etc. So reimbursement, who will pay for the solution? Patients or healthcare professionals rarely pay for solutions, so you need to find out who does, and it's different for different markets, different countries. What is the route to market? How would you get it into the hands of the clinical teams or the patients? And are there any barriers to the adoption of your technology or solution? These are important because it could be a great solution, but if it doesn't fit into what people's perception of what a solution should be, or if they're willing to try it out, it may never take off. Is there intellectual property to protect? Is your solution unique? It should be unique. Google will kind of point it out if it's already been invented. And then you need to think about who should be on your team to develop the product. Do you need engineers or designers, etc., or software people? You won't know this straight away, but if it's something that you're developing requires engineering or design, you may very well need an engineer or a designer. But you'll build this into the product's development plan. You don't need them now. You'll need them in the future. So you just articulate that. So who should be on your team to develop the product? Oh yeah, I just went through that, sorry. So the other thing is that you need to know your customers, and you can use something like the value proposition canvas from Strategizer. And this helps determine who your customer segment will be, what their pain points are, and what value you will bring to them. And it's some very good resources on their website, and there's links to that website on the how-to guide for this. In addition to that, you should brainstorm what the business model might look like, and you can use the business model canvas again from Strategizer. And this too has a short 2-minute video explainer on the links provided in the how-to guide. It just helps clear it in your head what your business will be and who the customer is and the value proposition, etc. Okay, so what's next if you get through the feasibility funding? And for many ideas, it's not really the first step, it's just the next step. And it will really help you articulate your idea in a way that's understood by everybody, not just the people who have your same insight on the issue, so not just other clinical people who really understand the problem. And it will hopefully let you know if there is a good chance for your idea to be developed into something that will deliver benefits to lots of different stakeholders, including patients, staff, the HSE, the government or the exchequer, and ultimately make healthcare better for everyone. There's also an opportunity to develop a product into a company via the various supports from Enterprise Ireland and others. So that would kind of go from a feasibility possibly onto a Enterprise Ireland commercialization fund working in partnership with the university or a IoT Institute of Technology or a technical university, and then spinning out a company, your own company, going through the startup stages, becoming an SME, becoming a multinational leader, multinational company, and then ultimately a global leader, the next Medtronic. I just want to talk about a couple of projects that are people, that went through this process or a similar process, and they're currently in train at the moment. So the first person I'll speak about is Helen Ryan. And Helen is a senior medical scientist in Galway, and she proposed a home diagnostic test for early identification of amniotic fluid leak in expectant mothers, and this has potentially significant benefits for both the mother and the babies. Now, Helen is working with an EI commercialization specialist to develop her idea further. And there's much, much more to this story, which I hope Helen will share in one of our upcoming webinars. I should mention as well, in 2019, the last time this competition was run, it was called the Cleveland Clinical Award, again, sponsored by Enterprise Ireland. Helen was one of the 3 winners of the award at that time with her idea for a point-of-care blood testing device. Helen's case study and others similar to hers are on our website. Again, follow the links on HIH.ie to the case study section. And this is another project that's going on at the moment. Emily Naylor, Beatrice Tejeda, and Professor Ignacio Martinez Lopez all work in ICU in a Dublin hospital. They recognised a need to reduce ventilator-associated pneumonia, which is a high incidence and mortality rate. And they developed the clinical and commercial need around it. And they worked with a designer in Health Innovation Hub, our own Gerald Healy, on a solution concept, and are currently working with Enterprise Ireland and an academic partner on a feasibility application to further explore the opportunity in this space. So just in a nutshell, the supports we'll provide will be around introductions to TTOs, researchers, clinical people, etc., and provide some matchmaking. And we can provide additional advice on the application itself. And we do have an in-house designer, I mentioned Gerald there, and he'd be happy to work with people on their design concepts, I suppose on a case-by-case basis. Here are the contact details. Myself here in Galway, it's Stephen.Griffin at nuigalway.ie. In Dublin, it is Sinead O'Connor in our Dublin office, and in Cork, it is Michael Toomey in the Cork office. So I'll just mention Aladdin is an EU project to develop a specific training program on 3D printing and additive manufacturing in healthcare for healthcare professionals and engineers. And to learn more about the Aladdin project, go to the website project.aladdin.eu. And to engage with the pilot, see elearning.project-aladdin.eu. And yeah, I'll take any questions now if people have them. And thank you all for your attention. Might stop sharing. Okay. I suppose one of the kind of main questions we get is kind of around IP or intellectual property, who owns it, etc. Now, all this is kind of dealt with on a case-by-case basis, and we can talk about that offline, depending on your own project. However, there's rarely is there any IP at an idea stage. It's kind of as it develops, that's when the IP would be generated, intellectual property, will be generated. And again, the technology transfer offices in the universities provide a huge amount of support in that area, where they will help you by looking at the whole, I suppose, patent space around what it is you're doing, to see if there are patents in that space that you might be encroaching upon, or something that might block you. And they'll help you through that process. And if there is something, if there isn't, if the space is clear, then that'll help you. They can provide supports then around how you would develop your own IP strategy for going forward. We do have an FAQ up on the website as well that has plenty of information there for I suppose questions that people may have. Yeah, so if people want to raise their hand or pop it into the chat there, we can answer a few more questions. Oh, I should say the competition is closing on the 26th of August, so it'll hopefully give people time there to get through. So somebody has their hand up in attendees. That's Eleanor. Yeah, go ahead, Eleanor. There, I think you can.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Good now, thanks.
I'm wondering about my own project is a final project I did with HIHI. I suppose I'm well versed on the clinical need for my project, but what I have found is when I've tried to progress it, I applied to Future Tech and they gave me a reserved place, but I'm lacking that technological knowledge on it. So at what stage would you match someone with like if I needed technological input, at what stage could I match with them?
Now, straight away. I would say don't bother waiting around.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I thought
like, yeah, the sooner you can kind of, so normally it would depend on what it is you're trying to develop and who you need to talk to and who's close to you. So where are you based, Eleanor?
I'm Drogheda.
That might be my connection here is breaking up. You Drogheda, is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there might be worth linking in with the local institution there or deconnect to find out if there are people kind of in the area, working in the area that you're interested in developing your solution in. But it would be a partnership then.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah.
And I mean, like, we're happy to facilitate those introductions. That's no problem. If you want to get on to us offline, we can do that.
That's completely gone.
Yeah, we just lost you there altogether, Eleanor. But that's okay. We can chat offline if you shoot us an email there. Might just get me on stephen.griffin@nygo.ie. Yeah, I suppose I'll speak a little bit more about engaging with an academic institution. First and foremost, it's a necessity. It's essential, really, essential criteria for the application to engage with them, a technology transfer office at a minimum to get their support. The reason being is those tech transfer offices work closely with Enterprise Ireland, so it'll go through their office, the back and forth. When the funding gets drawn down, it'll be through a university as well. So it's to have that initial engagement with them, so they know you're coming, and if you win, then the funding will be coming into them. And again, we'll provide those introductions. You don't have to have a relationship developed already with the tech transfer office or a university or an institute of technology or a technical university. That can all come. The other benefit of it is, I suppose, engaging with the university or one of those other organizations is that you will have access to their technical resources, I suppose, their technical expertise and some of their resources. So you may link in with somebody. First and foremost, the feasibility is around the market feasibility. It's not about developing the technical side of it just yet, but it will help if there is a strong market there, that the technical side will get pushed forward. That Enterprise Ireland would, if the report is positive, that they will be, I suppose, I don't want to say enticed, but they would look to invite you then to apply for further funding through commercialization fund, working again through university, and you may have that partnership or collaboration already established with somebody in a university who, or technical university or institute of technology, that can facilitate that work for you, and you would be part of it as the idea owner in the first instance, and what part is up to you really, and your time, I suppose your bandwidth. So, and again, from the other side, if there's academic people who are working on projects and they need the clinical person to engage with, then we can facilitate that sort of engagement too. And this is a unique award in terms of who the applicants are, because normally they are similar awards are people who've already developed technology and they're coming forward and getting these supports. However, this is more about the clinical people coming forward with the real needs and the problems identified and an idea for a solution, and sometimes a solution developed or a prototype or whatever, but more often than not much earlier stage. So it's a nice opportunity to bring forward those ideas and try and get them developed. I suppose I won't waffle on too long because I suppose it's lunchtime for people. Is there any other questions?
There's one other question there, Steve. Someone's just wondering if the clinical lead has to be part of the project going forward to the next stage.
The next stage, as in when they do the feasibility or after the feasibility?
They haven't specified in this question, just going to the next stages.
Okay, so they will have to. You'll need a clinical lead to put in the application, and so they're part of it there. After that, then I suppose that's an agreement between you whether they want to do it or not, whether they want to stay with the project or not, or wherever it's going to go. I'd imagine, for the most part, it's worth treating it like a business, and whoever owns the idea would have the majority share of that business. Let's say all that is negotiated out at the front. Not to overcomplicate it, but it's probably better if you're going to have questions like that coming into it. But I don't see why they would have to be involved or why they should have to leave. That's up to you as you go forward.